Plants vs. Zombies is a classic, and its music is very memorable. But why is that? What makes it stand out so much? I decided to break this soundtrack down. When I started listening to it, I discovered that it had a very unique tone. It didn't sound like a typical zombie apocalypse movie full of dark and grim tones, but it also wasn't too gamey and fun sounding. It was something in between. Fun, light-hearted music, but with a hint of tragedy and doom. And the more I listened to it, the more I noticed that the music was almost split up into chunks of fun and chunks of sadness. I think that the best example of this is the music of the very first chapter, Grasswalk. It starts with this. It has lots of short notes, raised fourths, and quick passages, making it sound almost like a scherzo or something played by the pianist in a western saloon. But after that, we get this section. This time, it's a lot more lyrical, and there are no raised fourths, sixths, or sevenths. Then we have another scherzo-like segment. And then a part that sounds like a combination of the two. Finally, we end the track with this part, which sounds like it's straight from some horror or drama movie. As you can see, we have a good variety of fun and sad parts throughout. To some degree, these changes are also present in other tracks. Moongrains, the nighttime music, starts with and then goes to Watery Graves, the pool music, starts with and then turns into Rigor Mormist, the fog music, starts with and then ends with Even the special event tracks for levels 5 and 10 in every world have this change. Loon Boon, the level 5 track, starts with the recognizable but then very quickly shifts to Ultimate Battle has a much longer change, but it's still there. Changes about halfway through to and then the sad and finally, the roof. It's my personal favorite because it feels very climactic and powerful, even though it only has a few instruments. The most powerful part of this track is this theme. However, it also has the change that we saw in previous tracks. also wanted to talk about the Zen Garden music. It's the only track in the game with a major tonality, and it represents tranquility and peace. But there's a small detail in it that I think really adds to the game's atmosphere. It modulates to a minor key. Not only does it tie into the changes that we saw in all other tracks, but it also makes the major part seem almost like a smile through tears, highlighting the direness of the situation outside. Another very important detail in all the tracks is the scarce instrumentation. Even in the final battle, you'll never hear more than 5 or maybe 6 instruments at a time. For me, this represents the humbleness of your defenses and your situation. You're not Superman or Batman, and you're not killing these zombies for fun. You're just a man who's trying his best to defend himself from certain death. All these emotions you feel, represented by the tracks, are rather muted by the ever-present doom surrounding every one of them. Finally, all tracks are either in minor or major, and while that may sound unoriginal, I think that this also works in the game's favor. The music is almost as predictable as the concept of zombies wanting to eat brains. It reminds us that this is a predictable story. What's more, remember when I said that the beginning of Grasswalk sounded like something from a western saloon? I think that also adds to this effect. However, despite it being predictable, it's still a real story with real emotion in it, and that's what the tragic bits are there for. It's a very subtle combination. Most games nowadays are either completely focused on being fun or completely serious, and not enough are in the sweet center that PvZ chose to take. I'm not saying it's bad, and certainly all games should choose what's best for them, but they should at least consider it to make their tone differ from the crowd. After all, this is another factor that made Plants vs. Zombies so special. Thank you for watching.